This will be your only warning.
So she was mind controlling the people in the town. And she created Pietro as an illusion, but he's a real person. She's been kind of manipulating from behind the scenes with her magic, but she didn't create the town. Wanda did that. We know that. I'm just going to put this back for now. I feel like every new episode of WandaVision gives us a ton of answers, but just like the TV show Lost, we're left with a billion more questions. Just when we think we know where the show is going, they throw a curveball at us. For once, I want to finish an episode and not immediately have to jump online to speculate with the rest of the internet about what the hell is happening in this show.
I have a theory, but I need more.
Hello, my name is Brandon, and welcome to another spoiler review for episode 8 of WandaVision, the penultimate episode that gives us some heavy exposition into how we got to where we are now. The Previously On segment for the episode titled Previously On sets the stage for what we are to expect in this episode. And it kind of feels like it was made for the people that aren't well versed in the MCU, which, if you're watching WandaVision and you haven't at least seen Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, then what are you even doing here?
Get your shit together!
But this episode hits the ground running, picking right where we left off in the last episode. Well, not quite. The Marvel Studios logo fades to a beautiful shade of purple to set the stage, giving us our backstory into where Agatha Harkness came from. And she looks great for her age. This flashback takes us all the way back to 1693, the era of the Salem witch trials, but gives us a new interpretation. Originally, the Salem witch trials was enacted by Puritans, burning people at the stake who they accused of being witches. Agatha in the comics is actually a strong supporter of the Salem witch trials, believing it as a means to weed out the weak and allowing only the strong witches to survive. In this case, it's Agatha Harkness being put on trial for betraying her witch's coven by using dark magic. Very similar to the Ancient One in Doctor Strange tapping into Dormammu's powers from the Dark Dimension. All of this sorcery might stem from the same place. Agatha could have learned witchcraft, very similar to how Doctor Strange became the Sorcerer Supreme, but I don't think Wanda's chaos magic is the same thing as their sorcery. It could be an inherent mutant ability, which was unlocked or enhanced by the Mind Stone, but I'll come back to that. It appears Agatha is being executed by members of the Coven for betraying their code of conduct, attempting to drain her of her life force. But instead, she pulls the old Uno card switcheroo.
Reverse, reverse! Reverse, reverse!
In turn, draining them of their life force, including the one that she refers to as Mother, thus becoming the sole surviving member. This gives us a little insight into Agatha's motives. She wants to be as powerful of a witch as she can, and once she's wiped out the members of the Coven, she turns her attention towards something bigger. A damn near 400 years later, mind you. But in Agatha's eyes, Wanda is the most powerful witch in existence, if she's even a witch at all. But Wanda's probably not a witch. She's most likely something else entirely. And when we return to Agatha's murder dungeon, she's interrogating Wanda, trying to figure out how she created this reality in Westview. She wants what she has. She wants her power. And last episode, it was revealed that it was Agatha all along. Not necessarily creating the illusion that we see, but pulling the strings and creating hijinkses from behind the scenes. Manifesting Pietro, or
Pietro, if you will.
not necessarily out of thin air, but most likely pulling a person that already existed inside Wanda's bubble as a way to trick Wanda into thinking that she's safe. And Agatha mocks Wanda for her inconsistencies with her accent.
Where are my children? That accent really comes and goes.
Which I think is funny because it's something that we've been joking about for years. And she talks to Senor Scratchy as if he's a more intelligent living being. But listen, with only one episode left of the series, I've given up all expectations of Mephisto showing up.
You say that.
Although, if Senor Scratchy is anybody other than a rabbit,
No, you're still holding on! Let go!
in order for Agatha to understand how Wanda's powers work, she needs to dig a little bit into her past, and we are taken on a trip down memory lane through Wanda's tragic backstory. First, reliving the days of her as a child in Sokovia, back when she was happiest with her then-alive brother Pietro, and both of her parents. We see the traditional Sokovian greeting that was joked about in episode 1 of WandaVision, as well as an understanding as to why Wanda chose the TV sitcom format for the mask of her reality. The old classic TV sitcoms was literally a coping mechanism for Wanda, assisting her through her struggles over the years, literally saving her from the tragedy that ensued. And we see that fatal moment that was first talked about in Avengers Age of Ultron, the moment of the bombings where Pietro and Wanda lost their parents. And we get a little bit of a hint as to how they survived for 2 days. It could have been Wanda all along. It appears she's had this chaos magic way before interacting with the Mind Stone, leading to my theory that she has the X gene, something she was born with and was only enhanced by the Mind Stone. I feel like the MCU could retcon Wanda and Pietro as mutants if they wanted to. It would be the best way to open the doors to mutants entering the MCU. But deep in my gut, I feel like they're not going to go that route. And instead, Instead, they're going to focus on Wanda being solely a Nexus being, someone who is an anchor to the multiverse, unchanged in any of the parallel universes, as well as the ability to rewrite reality itself. And revisiting her time being experimented on in Hydra, we see that first interaction with the Mind Stone, witnessing her vision of it opening, unlocking that dormant mental state that allows her to warp reality, pushing her to her full potential of becoming the Scarlet Witch. And she's given a vision of just that, a vision of herself. That, or it's a vision of a Wanda from an alternative universe. But either way, it sets her path in motion.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
This is the first instance of her warping reality. The scientists that are in the room with the experiment seem to react when she's unlocking the Mind Stone. But when they play it back on the camera, that whole moment is cut out, making me believe that she literally rewrote it. It's almost as if just being in the room with the Mind Stone let off enough radiation to bring that dormant gene out. But because of all the years of suffering and grief that she's endured, Wanda bottles up that energy, unable to reach that full potential. Following the death of her brother, she closes herself off to others, and it's only Vision who's able to break down those walls, or rather, walk through them.
Viz, we talked about this.
Yes, but the door was open, so I assumed that...
She says that the only thing that's going to make her comfortable is seeing her brother again, but it seems that Vision changes that. Him giving her a better understanding of where grief stems from seems to comfort Wanda. He's there for her, and it seems he's the only one.
But what is grief? If not love, persevering.
And when he's gone, she has nothing left. She witnesses him die twice and then vanishes during the blip, returning 5 years later to nothing in her arms. And the only thing that she wants is to be with Vision again, back in that comfort that he provided. So she goes to Sword to ask for him back. But this whole moment was depicted by Hayward as an act of aggression on Wanda's part, saying that she stormed the facility and stole his body from under their possession. But we see this moment play out very differently. She politely goes up to the front desk and asks to see him, and they let her in. Well, they were going to before she breaks down the doors, but nobody stops her as she walks through the hallways, not even when she enters Director Hayward's office, and he very cordially escorts her to the window to show what they're doing with Vision's body. They're dismantling him, because as the Department of Sentient Weapon Observation, it seems it's their ethical duty to make sure that technology doesn't end up in the wrong hands. But as we see later, they weren't just dismantling him. But even though Hayward might not be as big of a villain as it seems, he still shows a great deal of insensitivity toward Wanda's feelings of grief, referring to Vision as an it and saying she wants to bring him back online, seeing him only as the weapon that he was created to be, and not the good parts of Vision that Wanda saw. He's to believe that Wanda wants to resurrect him, but instead she just wants a proper goodbye. She wants to bury him as a decently morally grounded human that she saw him as. Hayward does seem to have this tendency of getting under people's skin and setting them off.
He isn't yours.
After everything that she's been through, after everything that she's seen, he has the audacity to say that? You gotta learn some better bedside manner there, dude. And just when everybody is about to attack, Hayward orders them to stand down, allowing her to say goodbye.
I just feel you.
I can't feel you.
How embarrassing. But after she says goodbye, she leaves, which isn't how Hayward made it seem.
9 days ago, Maximoff stormed our facility, stole the Vision's body, and resurrected him.
So that was a lie.
But where does she go? She goes to Westview, where it seems that Vision purchased them a property before he died, a place where they could finally be together and be free. And when she arrives at the barren property, realizing that she literally has nothing left, all of those years of bottling up her grief and bottling up her power, restricting herself from her full potential, is unleashed, exploding into existence, reshaping her reality into the thing that has comforted her all of these years, the TV sitcom world, the very things that saved her. And with that energy, she recreates Vision from nothing, or from within herself. Because even as Bruce Banner stated in Avengers Infinity War,
your mind is made up of a complex construct of overlays. Jarvis, Ultron, Tony, me, the Stone. All of them mixed together. All of them learning from one another.
You're saying Vision isn't just the stone?
I'm saying that if we take out the stone, There's still a whole lot of Vision left, perhaps the best parts.
And Wanda makes up the difference of the missing stone, because she is sort of derived from that same entity, helping to rebuild the best parts of Vision's personality. And this false reality that Wanda creates is her full potential and energy coming to fruition. And Agatha wants it. She wants that power. She might be a witch, but she doesn't have the ability to reshape reality or to stem through the multiverse. All of this research allows Agatha to come to the conclusion of who Wanda really is. She is that Nexus being, and all of this chaos magic is the greatest power that exists. As Thor's mother Frigga once said, she becomes not who she's supposed to be, but rather who she really is. It's proof that she has finally become
The Scarlet Witch.
There it is! There it is!
And like Agatha states, this power could be dangerous. Assuming we will see how this ties into Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness by the end of the series. Probably an after-credit scene cliffhanger. And to try and stop her from using this power, Hayward and the Sword Crew bring what they've been working on all this time online. And it's the White Vision. Very similar to in the comics when Vision was dismantled, he was brought back to life as the White Vision. Sort of like a husk of what Vision used to be, without all of those good parts I mentioned, and he's more of a joyless synthezoid. So Sword is not just the Department of Sentient Weapon Observation. It looks like they're partly the Department of Creation too. Maybe this is the big cameo that everybody was talking about. Maybe the cameo that Paul Bettany was referring to was him cameoing as himself. Somebody he's longed to work with for a long time. Somebody he has lightning chemistry with.
You know him? Well, of course I know him. He's me.
But it seems that Hayward is going to use this new White Vision to try and put a stop to Wanda's hex magic. But Wanda has an ally of her own. She has her own vision.
Solo round.
If you liked hearing me talk about WandaVision this week, be sure to subscribe. I'll be putting out review videos like this every week an episode is released. I'll also be doing this for Falcon and the Winter Soldier when it drops next month, as well as any of the other upcoming Marvel shows this year. There's a lot to look forward to this year, so there's a lot to talk about. Also, be sure to check out my other video series, Quarantine. I have 2 videos up there now, one talking about Pedro Pascal being cast as Joel Miller from the Last of Us series, and another talking about the announcement of Spider-Man 3's title being Spider-Man No Way Home. So be sure to go give both of those videos some love, and share them with your friends if you enjoy them. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter. You can come yell at me over there about WandaVision and what you thought about this week's episode. You can also talk to me about any of the theories that you have about where this show is going and what this means for the greater MCU. Be sure to comment below what you thought about this episode and what you thought about my review. And last but not least, be sure to follow me on twitch.tv/BoxTheWise. I'm working on getting my computer fixed and a more substantial streaming setup so I can start playing some video games with all of you lovely people. If you enjoyed this video or any of my other content, be sure to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with any of my latest releases. But thanks so much for stopping by, and until next time, it was Agatha all along. Bye!
Thanks a lot. Bye.